Hey YouTuber, sorry, I know I keep drawing out my videos, but anyway, we're finally at the last Ben 10 show. Yes, I finally watched all the Ben 10 shows. Okay, so this takes place, few months. Didn't really tell you how long it's been, but it's definitely been a while. Yeah, like basically, okay, so Ben starts out when, he's trying to fight Zombozo with Gwen and Kevin. But they lock Zombozo to jail, and Gwen says she's leaving for college. And Ben's like, wait, huh? And he says, you remember I skipped all those grades? He's like, oh, okay. And he said, okay, then meet me and Kevin then. And Kevin says, I'm going to have a garage. He said, Kevin? With a job? What? Yeah. So basically, Ben says, okay, now it's time for me to work alone. Because I've never done that before. So we see a plumber base that's in Bellwood, a new plumber base. Grandpa Max is not retired anymore. Of course, of course he's been doing it a while. I mean, I just told you he fought Agrigor and Ultimate Alien in that video. So basically, long story short, we see Mr. Bauman. This version of Mr. Bauman is not like the one from Alien Force. He's not like this caring guy. He's like this cranky old man. Just imagine if J. Jonah Jameson met Peter Parker as a kid and hated him. And knew his secret identity. Still hated him, though. So, that's basically what this version of Mr. Bauman is. So, long story short, these aliens started to extort money from. Then we see his new partner, Rook Blanco. He blah, blah, blah. He helps him to disarm a bomb. And then we find out there's a underground town. Aliens have been living on Earth for decades and decades. And we originally learned aliens have been on Earth since the 1700s. Then they call it Undertown. He said, I didn't know there was secret. I didn't know aliens lived underground for years. I just never knew about it. And he said, how long have it been up here? Well, since aliens have been on Earth. So, blah, blah, blah. They defeat the, not assassins, the thieves. And then he kind of accepts Rook as his partner. So they basically go on crazy adventures and all that stuff. We do see a lot of flashbacks. Like, just to tie in to the original show. So, skipping a lot of stuff here and there, we get a guy whose name's Kyber. Kyber's basically like Ben 10's version of Kraven the Hunter, if he was an alien. So, let's talk about that arc for a second, okay? So, when the flashback starts, we see Phil. So, Phil is one of Grandpa Max's old plumber partners that, they put in the Null Void, because he was basically freeing them so he could get some cash for quote-unquote, you can't see my air quotes, but quote-unquote, putting them back in the Null Void and getting some cash for it, and eventually he gets trapped in Null Void. So, a guy named Dr. Psychobos, he's a cerebral crustacean, same species as Brainstorm. Okay, so whatever. So he hates Galvin. So anyway, he creates his own Omnitrix. He said, I can I can make an Omnitrix better than I can do an Omnitrix in my sleep. I can create an Omnitrix in my sleep. I'm better than a Galvin. Yeah, I'm smarter than even baby Galvins and all that crap. I'm saying even baby Galvins are intelligent. Not Blukins and Dreba. To Galvin standards, they're stupid. Blukins and Dreba are stupid people. I'll tell you who they are in a second. Anyway, he creates the Nematrix. Basically, he can turn to the predators of the aliens. So they tested on human Phil. And then he tried to fight Ben 10, but it was too much for his human heart. So he turned back to a guy, and then he got teleported back in the Null Void. It kind of messed with Phil's sanity. So the Phil we know is basically dead. Like, the Nematrix species completely takes over his mind. So the real Phil that we know is basically dead, and it's basically the alien. basically the alien species that's wearing his body. I don't, it gets kind of confusing, but Ben 10, this shows, it basically breaks the timeline. So anyway, Kyrie puts on his dog. He eventually defeat the dog, and yeah. He turned to one predator, and Ben says, you know what, I remember that predator when I was a kid. He was one of those mind control predators. And then we found out he was collecting predator DNA throughout the galaxy. That's why Ben knows that the mind controlling predator, because he took the DNA of that, and then yeah. So they defeat Kyber and all that stuff. And he's basically like Craven the Hunter. He's gonna keep coming back, and he has this whistle in his face. Yes, his face is a whistle. So, I mean, his cheeks are whistles. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Let's talk about Malware. See, now, Malware is one of, he's kind of like upgrade species. He's a galvanic mechamorph. Now, galvanic mechamorphs were created by Azimuth. He wanted to create new life. He would create a new homeworld for Galvans, called it Galvan B, basically their moon. It was like any other Earth moon. And then he's like, he said, okay, a new society, a new city. But he didn't expect to create a new species called galvanic mechamorphs. That's why they're called that, Galvan B. So he tries to create another one, but he's defective, Malware. He said, how come I'm not like the other ones? Okay, so most of them, they look blobby, like green and black. But Malware, he looks sickly, and he's like black and yellow. He looks gross. So he basically drains the galvanic mechamorphs, and he says, Azimuth, fix me. And then Ben said, wait, you didn't fix him? And then, he goes on a rampage and started attacking everybody. Unlike some galvanic mechamorphs, when they can fuse with machines, he can fuse with machines, and he can make the machines his own. So he can make weapons his own. So Ben's having trouble with his Omnitrix. It's a flashback. It really doesn't matter. So he sees Malware and tries to beat the crap out of him. Malware wrecks him. He's like, no, you're not worth it. And he just takes him down. Eventually he takes Albedo, the guy who basically he's a Galvan, but he has Benton's DNA. But this is before that, and he was still normal Galvan. He's still shady, and he's always a shady person. That's why he has fired him. One thing, when the show almost ends, I see one of Asmon's old assistants. She was in season 4, when Ben's Omnitrix was going to explode and basically kill him, along with killing the whole entire universe. I feel like I've said that video. I've done a lot of videos. It's not that many. I feel like I have just 13 videos, but still, it's been a while since I've done that. So anyway, Malware becomes this giant blob thingy, and then basically he looks like other galvanic mechamorphs, but red and more powerful. Kept shooting Ben. See, the only way he defeats him is Diamond Head. So he encases him in diamond. So the only thing that could defeat him, he said, "I'll be back." Yeah. So basically that happens. So Malware comes back again. He basically keeps coming back. He attacks him on Earth when he's 4 arms. Then he leaves again. He attacks a plumber base, leaves again, and eventually, for one last time, Ben turns into his new alien called Feedback. He uses alien too much. He said, you can't, Asmus said, if you keep using the conductoid DNA, that's what he's called. That's what species are called. But he said, if you keep using the conductoid DNA, you won't be able to, turn into the alien anymore. So basically, he fights, and Gwen says, the only way that you defeat him was his diamond head. But he does it because, he's a kid, and I feel like he likes it too much. So, when he becomes Feedback, he separates Feedback from Ben. So basically, without Ben's mind, it's just a shell. It's basically just a shell. And he destroyed Feedback. That pisses him off. So he puts his Omnitrix in there. He said, ooh, a lot of Omnitrix in it. But he blew him up. And that, people, is the reason why he retired from being a superhero. Uh-huh. I'm only going to talk about the big stuff, the little stuff. We have a thing called the Annihilarch. That's basically, it can destroy a universe. But if there's no universe to begin with, it can make a universe. We find out there's the things called the Contumelia, who created the universe. dialogue was originally used to create the universe, but now is used to destroy the universe and all that stuff. And Ben goes to the beginning of time and stops that from happening. Let the universe begin. So you saw the beginning of the universe. And then there's a scene when the dialogue blows up the universe. So he remakes the universe in his image. It's crazy. But he couldn't remake the Mr. Smoothies flavor. He said, I just couldn't get the flavor right. No. Yeah, of course, Rook don't believe him. He don't believe that aliens is real. He's just like what a fan thought. We see Rook's home planet. He's called Ravana. We see his teacher called Master Kundo. Because basically, like, there's greatest warrior, but he likes tradition too much. And eventually, he became what he hates. He hates technology, so he became a cyborg. Kind of ironic, isn't it? Because, you know, a guy hates technology, and now basically he is half technology. Tries to destroy the Plumber base, and we find out Plumber base is on our ships. And Lucas and Drew have teleported. He said, you could have just teleported the bomb out of there. And then Lucas and Drew, but they came to Earth in the 60s. Because, you know, Area 51. Apparently, we know that exists in the Ben 10 universe. So they crash on Earth, help them defeat this, because they were basically cadets on Galvin Prime. Because this is before Earth had plumbers too. So basically, they get on Earth, but they're not supposed to be on Earth. Their friend Luli, because, okay, Galvins are basically like frogs. They thought of it as tadpoles, and yeah, but anyway, they become cadets, and, you know, they have a crush on Luli. So she's the one that's supposed to use this Skewomorph. Skewomorph is like this bomb that can destroy this alien's robot. They call him Benevolar. Yeah, but he thinks his idea of peace is basically destroying the Earth, because he's crazy. Benevolon, that's his name. Anyway, they stop him. The Skewomorph blows up. Basically, and then they drop it off, and then they were on Earth in the 60s, and they basically said, can we have a job? As you know, Grandpa Max freed him from Area 51 and all that stuff. Eventually, she comes back. She says, "Where's the government experience?" Blah blah blah. The thing blows up, and yeah, the show has 80 episodes. I'm just gonna run through the storylines. Okay, then we finally see Ghost Freak's planet. Ghost Freak's free again. I know, how is Ghost Freak free in the Omnitrix if he was trapped in the Omnitrix? Don't strain yourself. Ben 10 got a complicated timeline and blah blah blah. We see. Anyway, they stop Ghost Freak, and Ben turns to a new alien called Vampire. Dr. Victor's still alive. They, destroy the guy who was possessing his body. It's like old man guy. Yeah, and then Dr. Victor. It's like this arc called Ben the Galactic Monster. Basically like these Halloween episodes. Like zombie clowns. Yeah, that was a weird episode because Ben says, he's not afraid of clowns, even though we know he is. But Grandpa Max can turn into a zombie clown. He freaks out. He says, "Ah!" And then, yeah. We even see flashbacks when he's 5 years old in the year 2000. Yeah. Anyway, they defeated Ghost Freak, and then, we see Charmcaster again. Of course, she betrayed him. She wants the Alpha Room. And then, by the end of it, Dr. Victor teams up with Ben 10 because Dr. Victor actually hates. On your planet, there's alien vampires, and he said, I hate those creatures and all that stuff. And Ben turns into one of those and becomes a vampire and defeats them. Okay. Yep. Blah, blah, blah. Skip stuff. Even here and there, there's a multiverse episode. Yeah, they're Ben 10 of multiverses. Yeah, it gets complicated. So we have a universe when Ben never had the Omnitrix. When the Omnitrix was never created. So I call him No Watch Ben. I don't know what other people call him, but I call him No Watch Ben. Because he's the universe without an Omnitrix. He never became close with Ben. They never had the best summer ever from the original series. They had the worst summer ever. Blah, blah, blah. Other Ben started attacking him because he's the only universe with no Omnitrix. Our Ben from Omniverse, the one I've been talking about for a while now, protects him, and then blah, blah, blah. It's basically Ben versus Ben battle. good Ben from the multiverse and bad Ben from the multiverse. And he kind of explains it. And this Ben, since he's not like our Ben, he's hasn't seen ghosts, magic people, magic. And we kind of learn a bit more about our Ben. So our Ben, we call him Ben Prime. He don't like real magic. He only likes fake magic. And Brooke said, you've seen real magic. And he said, it's too much. I like the hocus pocus. It's like, wait, huh? That kid got so weird. So basically, you have something like a Chrono Sapien time bomb. If you don't know what that is, it was going to kill every Ben from every different universe. Except No Watch Ben's universe. He wants No Watch Ben's universe to be the only universe with a Ben that still exists. So our Ben Prime, gives No Watch Ben his Omnitrix. So he basically dies and all that crap. And Paradox basically says, we gotta go. And he said, where are we going? We gotta go to the beginning. We gotta restart Ben Prime's universe. If Ben Prime gets his Omnitrix, all the universe will branch off and we have a multiverse. Okay, we see Earth 23. This is a universe where Grandpa Max died, so he became like a selfish little brat. He basically was like a celebrity mogul or something. And our Ben basically tells him to not be a jerk. And our Ben learns a lesson too, that he should appreciate his Grandpa Max. And his Azimuth, basically, because it's been selfish, so he wants his Omnitrix back. That version of Azimuth wants his Omnitrix back, because he said you do it in fame and fortune and stuff. And this, when Ben was a kid, he used to hate smoothies. Now he loves smoothies. But this Ben, when this alternate universe, when he's like 13, this Ben never retired and never took off the Omnitrix. So of course he got famous and got a brat. Blah blah blah. He makes euros, who are basically just gyros. What? It's weird. But anyway, our Ben teaches him a lesson. Anyway, we see him to assemble the team. And then, he said, fine, okay. He said, let me call my people. Yeah, I know he's a little arrogant. Okay, so then we get universe when Gwen got the Omnitrix. Another universe. Just watch the original Benson episode. That's another episode with Gwen Stin. I'm not going to explain all this in one video. It definitely takes a lighter direction. It's not as dark as Alien Force Ultimate Alien. Well, especially Alien Force. Dang, that shit was messed up. But I still like it. I say I would give it a B. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the other shows. But it's really entertaining. I mean, multiverse, bending of the multiverse. I mean, of course, we know multiverses, dimensions, like the Generator Rex show. It's in another dimension. It's another show. I'll tell you, I'll review it eventually. I'll eventually review Generator Rex when they put it on stream and all this stuff. I used to watch it. And they even bring back a show called Secret Saturdays, was also played by... They were also made by Man of Action, but honestly, he teams up with those characters. Yeah, anyway, he teams up with those characters and, they fight the villain and all that crap. Yeah. This universe with Argent's basically like swimming in a money bin like Scrooge McDuck, but he has a gold Omnitrix. I thought that was kind of funny. He's, no. Yeah, Ben says, no watch, Ben says, now wearing a watch. I was call him No Watch Ben wearing a watch. Yeah. And he said, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, but first he had to restart Ben Prime's universe. Blah, blah, blah. Vilgax shoots down the ship. He said, oh, a shooting star. And this is going to be the worst summer ever. Ooh, shooting star. And he freaks out and he says, looks like a satellite or something, blah, blah, blah. He gets the Omnitrix, turns heat blast. Timeline fixed. So he gets all the other Bens. We see Ben 10K. I know, Ben meets his future self again. I need timelines of Ben 10,000 we need to see. And this version of... You see Ben 10's son go back to the past to ensure his future with Kai. Yeah, Ben sees Kai green again. They don't like each other, but he said, you do like each other. By the end of it, it seems like they're going to get together. And, in the end, he said, pack your bags. We're going to see the universe and all that crap. So I explained malware. Oh, yeah, they eventually destroy malware. Malware comes back in the present and tries to destroy Ben is, what's that called? Way Big. Eventually, he defeats him. Like, Ben is in this dream sequence. He sees himself when he was younger, from when, Alien X was dying, when he basically went in depression. It's not depressing like, he's gonna kill himself. No, like, he was really sad because the thing that he really loved was gone. And it kind of messed him up. Because he was just so serious. He wasn't making fun of Gwen. Yeah. And then he sees his past self. It's basically like a vision. And his vision of his past self basically said, Did you learn from it? And he said, basically, no. I mean, yes, I did. And he says, okay. And he said, do you blame me? And he says, okay, maybe I do a little blame you, but it wasn't your fault that Alien X, our favorite thing, died. And then he learns how to move on and all that stuff. And then he finally becomes Alien X. I mean, not Alien X, sorry. Sorry, I kept saying Alien X. Sorry. I mean, what is his name? Feedback, yes. So he basically uses feedback to absorb the energy. Long story short, Kyber's dog is actually a girl. So, and now is with, live with Gwen and Kevin. Because Kyber was actually a good pet owner. I mean, Nimmatrix always keep telling him to go sick someone. Because, like, sick 'em boy and all that crap. Yeah. And join Kevin because we find out, of course, Zed is a girl and all that crap. I know it's not necessary, but yeah. But they eventually destroy malware for good. Eventually, Bill Gates comes back and use malware as armor and all that stuff. Defeats him again. He meets an alien parasite called Scourge, who's attracted to alien DNA. It actually gives him cool combinations and eventually learns how to like him. Like, he could have an armadillo arms, blocks cannon, diamond head, sword, and shield. Eventually defeated Vilgax, the symbiote. Yes, I know, Benton's version of the symbiote. Eventually, he went back in time to be with his ancestors so he can know what he's been. Yeah, and all that crap. So honestly, I think you should try it out. But I'm not done with the video yet. We see Charmcaster a few times. Yeah, eventually we kind of see Michael Morningstar again, who was to take Gwen's powers, and then she would be back to she would go back to Ledger Domain. Anyway, they defeated Michael Morningstar. I said Michael Morbius, sorry. Michael Morningstar and all that crap. Even though he kind of reminds me of Michael Morbius. Yeah. He became an actual vampire. And Michael Morningstar is basically like an energy vampire. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I don't know. Seems like he should be Michael Morbius. Maybe they did him on purpose to be like a Michael Morbius. Don't watch the Benton reboot because Michael Morbius is a sick little psycho who likes feeding on people's energy. And that's a creepy villain, but kind of a cool villain at the same time. But basically, Michael Morbius in the reboot kind of acts like Robert Pattinson's version. Robert Pattinson in Twilight. And because he's like a movie star and all that stuff. Basically, in the Ben 10 reboot, they made him a mix between Justin Bieber and Robert Pattinson from Twilight. I don't know. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I don't know. I feel like he's more kind of like that in the reboot. Yeah. Anyway, they defeat Michael Morningstar and all that crap. Gwen's calling herself Lucky Girl again. She hadn't been calling herself Lucky Girl until the original series. Watch the original series. I can't explain all of this. Yeah. And anyone get confused, just write it down below and ring the bell. I will try and explain it if someone watches this. Because so far, no one has watched the show. And if all goes well, maybe some people will like it. Like I said, Omniverse is not for everyone. That's what I keep saying about Ultimate Alien. Alien Force? I feel like that show is just too incredible. To me, you might say this is Alien Force sucks. But I love Alien Force. So yeah, it does a lot of cool stuff, and I can't name everything in Omniverse, but I loved it. It was a good ending. It was a perfect ending to a not so great show, and it kind of was a middle of the road, and it came out just before the reboot. Okay, if anyone actually likes the reboot, that's your prerogative. I don't like the reboot, but if you do, okay. But just so you know, if you do like the reboot, I'm not going to review it, okay? I don't like the reboot. If you do, fine. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye. I'll try to do a video. Try not to wait so long to make a video, but no promises. Okay, I'll give it a B+. See you guys later. Bye.